Hello everyone, Visual Pony here. Usually we don't do things like this, but this is a website that both Midnight and I use regularly. You might have seen Midnight stream a lot of games over on her Twitch channel over the last year, and you might wonder how we were able to get all of those. Well, look no further, because the answer is right here. The good folks over at Kinguin are currently clearing some of their stock and have sent us an affiliate link through which you can kill two birds with one stone. You can get amazing games at good prices, while also supporting the channel, since we get a cut of everything that you purchase with our link, which you can find in the description down below, by the way. But better be quick, their clearance sale is only running from the 14th to the 21st of April. So while you're listening to this amazing story, why not hop over there and have a look at what games they have on sale right now. And now, enjoy the video and your potentially new games.
Roar!
Ew. Hello everyone and welcome back to another Pony&Wolf Productions video. My name is Visual Pony and today we're reading the story The Butterfly Affair by axxuy. I personally must say this looks kinda interesting. I have not previewed the story, as I never do. And, well, as many of you know, I am a big Luna fan, and since the thumbnail for this is Princess Luna looking not amused, I was already kinda taken. And now, without further ado, let me show you a list of those amazing, wonderful people who keep donating to our channel and keeping the channel alive, enabling us to keep the lights on, our computers running, and the microphones running hot. So, if you want to help us out, then down in the description below you will find a link to our Patreon. And don't forget that being a patron on Patreon actually gives you amazing perks like, early access to all of my stuff and downloads to the MP3 files of these stories. So, without further ado, let's get into the story because I'm fairly certain I'm annoying you a great deal by now. Luna did not like diplomacy. To be more accurate, she did not like being a diplomat. Talking and working things out with other nations was something she was quite happy with, as long as some pony else did it. Whenever she did, she somehow ended up getting kidnapped. It was quite frustrating, really. You know the fairy tales about knights rescuing princesses from dragons? Those were inspired by her. She had been sealed in the sacred labyrinth of the Minotaurs, not so hard for her to find her way through. It helped tremendously that all the passages stayed where they were, unlike the dream labyrinth she was used to. A diner in a Griffin restaurant had once decided he didn't want to pay for his meal, leapt on her table, and held her hostage for the price of the bill. To be fair, it was rather overpriced. But this was by far the tiniest kidnapping she had ever experienced. "They're breezies," Celestia said. "They're too small to do anything," she said. The swarm of black-masked breezies that were escorting her through the forest had not gotten the message. Why did these things always happen to her? Celestia had never been pony-napped while she was visiting someplace. Not even Luna's own bat ponies had laid a hoof on her in the wake of her banishment. She was glad about that, actually, but the point still stood. The whole thing did make Luna feel justified in raising her eyebrow at the prospect of an escort of breezy guards. They'd hardly lasted a few seconds when the ambush came, and that was all of 3 paces past the portal. She did hope they were okay. Some breezy needed to get word to the Queen Breezy she was supposed to meet. As to the Draconicus in the room, yes, she could swat them all down with her bare hooves, let alone her magic. But that would only make relations worse. There was nothing to do but wait for the breezies to sort things out among themselves. Not being able to do anything about it herself was always the frustrating part. Bah, diplomacy. She was sick of it. The breezies yelled and brandished the twigs that served them as spears. Luna pressed on, following their lead deeper and deeper into the great breezy forest. It was a lovely place, really. The trees gave a pleasant, cool shade, and there was all kinds of beautiful flowers she had never seen before. If she ever did make it to her meeting, she would have to see about importing some of them. The forest came to an abrupt stop. A semicircular clearing a little wider than her wingspan opened in front of a cliff. She beheld a temple in miniature. Tiny steps ascended to the height of her barrel to meet an opening in the cliff face. The entire edifice was ornated, carved with figures of breezes and elaborate runes. The breezes began to chant. Finally, something interesting was happening, but also something dangerous. Dark magic was one thing whose power did not depend on size. She sighed a deep and weary internal sigh as she prepared to protect her kidnappers from whatever trouble they were about to get themselves into. Fortunately for them, all that happened was that 3 more breezes, also in adorable tiny black masks, issued from the cave. They conferred with the groups that had taken her. Luna could not tell what they were saying, but they were excited.
You will pay!
One of the newcomers sneered in halting Ponish when he had heard the report. He flittered up above her head.
Bring her chat!
His 2 companions went back into the cave. Every breezy else buzzed excitedly. Luna was back to being bored. She had seen all this before and, frankly, wasn't impressed. There was hardly even any dark magic. What she still couldn't figure out was just what in Tartarus was going on. Her impatience grew steadily. Some breezy needed to explain it to her, or doom and dark magic might really come. Oh, she really was not cut out for this job. With as much pomp and circumstance as they could muster, the breezes brought something out of the cave. She thought it was a statue at first. What they carried was still a stone, and as old. But there was some tiny breath in it. He also spoke Ponish, thankfully, and quite a bit better than his compatriot.
I am the wise breezy. You have insulted us. This cannot be allowed.
Luna thought that surely the queen of her diplomat would have told her if she'd insulted them so badly, so she did not know what he was referring to. But at least she was getting somewhere.
And you have insulted Equestria by seizing us like this. Explain yourselves!
One of the breezes growled and hurled his spear at her. It caught and dangled in her mane.
Control yourselves, fool!
The wise breezy said.
Be assured she shall pay the price.
He may not have been on her side, but at least he had some sense. Probably.
Do not pretend not to know. We have heard your speeches. You think us mere butterflies.
He spat the last word. Most of the others spat on hearing it too. Luna had indeed compared them to butterflies in her announcement that she would be visiting them. She thought it was rather obvious why. She took a deep breath. She was going to be patient here. Be like Celestia. Ignore the thought that they certainly would not have kidnapped Celestia for giving the exact same speech. Luna focused on being patient. Be like Celestia, she thought. She would simply, calmly explain herself. Allow herself blame for the misunderstanding.
I did not mean that you are butterflies. I only wanted a comparison to say what you are like to my subjects.
We won't be compared to that filth.
Luna thought butterflies were lovely. Granted, she dealt with moths more often, but the point stood. She would have to ask the queen about the topic, but for the moment she hoped to still talk her way out.
I apologize, then. You are clearly not at all like butterflies.
She bowed her head. Butterflies would never pony nap her was the biggest difference she could think of, but they did not need to know that.
Bad, yes. It will not save you. If Equestria wants its princess back, all my breezes will have their weight in gold. I have spoken.
That is a high price, but Equestria shall pay.
She should not have simply given in to the demand, she knew this. But Celestia was always going on about magnanimity, and besides, she was badly late for her meeting now. She would simply have to deal with the consequences later. She conjured a gold bit from the royal treasury. She brandished it before them and let her magic shave a ribbon of metal off the edge. It looked unchanged by the end. The breezes roared and cheered as loudly as their tiny voices could. The young breezes danced in a circle around the ribbon of gold as the wise one looked on. Luna cleared her throat.
I have paid your ransom. Now fulfill thy bargain and take me back to the queen.
It was tempting to simply walk off by herself, but Luna was a princess. She deserved an escort, even if it was breezies like these. She was pleased that they only made it halfway back before meeting a group of the queen's guards. And this group was ready. Luna was even more pleased to watch how quickly her original escort found themselves in chains. The leader bowed before her and carried on taking every creature back to the castle. A princess could get used to this. Luna hummed a little tune. At long last, she made it to her actual appointment. A place had been prepared for her on a hill outside the Breezy's realm palace. The queen came out and greeted her, deeply apologetic. It was a nice change from leaders like her being responsible for the kidnapping. Enough so that Luna almost considered coming back sometime. Almost. Hello and welcome back to Common Time with Visual Pony, and today let's get into the meat of the story immediately because, let's face it, by now you know that you can support our channel through the Patreon link down in the description, and that we desperately need those donations because most of our most valuable stuff has been demonetized. So, what do I think about this story? What can I say? I find it rather cool, but I must say, being diplomatic is one thing, but I'm fairly certain that in a situation like this, the diplomat would be excused if they, defended themselves. And let's face it, it's breezies. Luna would just have to light her horn and be like, ping, turn them all into toads or whatever. No, wait, the toads would be even more deadly than the breezies. But you know what I mean. They wouldn't stand a chance. She could literally subdue all of them in one go. They don't stand a chance against her, and she knows it. But that she's still staying diplomatic and tries to solve things peacefully. Well done, Luna. Seriously. Props for you. You are just amazing. I personally still think Luna is best princess, but that is my personal opinion. Let me know in the comments down below who your favorite pony princess is, and we will see each other in the next video. And as always, I hope that this story finds you well in body and mind.